Everyone, welcome into TexAgs Rewind, presented by Specs in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Got Nolan Smith hanging out with me. What's up, Nolan? Give me some pound.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. So Nolan goes to school with my daughter, Annalise. He loves football. He actually watches old man sports radio, which I love about him. What was your favorite part of the show today?
My favorite part about the show today was the bonfire.
Interview with John Comstock?
Yes, sir.
Did you know a lot of that stuff?
Uh-huh.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. He's told me a lot about it when I was young, and I kind of got more intrigued into it.
All right. What's the second favorite part of the show?
Second favorite had to be the recruiting with Bronny.
Okay. So I've noticed that you're here on TexAgs Rewind, Caitlin, my show.
Right.
And he has not mentioned me once. Nothing about David being cool. Nothing about this. No, it's Bronny. And John Comstock, yes. I mean, thank you. All right. Who's your favorite Aggie football player?
My favorite Aggie football player is Noah Thomas.
He's good, right?
He's really nice, too.
He's a nice young man. All right, so that's on the show. Apparently I'm not, because, I'm not cool enough. John Comstock, Recruiting Country with Ryan Brauninger, Max Wright, and, of course, the Go Hour, which was great with OB. That and more. It's the Rewind. Check it.
Hey, how about this one? How interested are you of South Carolina and Clemson?
Another one.
Really nasty rivalry.
So part of me's rooting for Clemson because they beat A&M. But I don't want them to have a 9-3 record and A&M have a 9-3 record. There's that kind of thinking. I like Dabo Swinney. I don't think they're very good, but they're at home. We're picking a lot of allegiances today. I like Dabo, but I like Shane Beamer.
Shane Beamer just kind of rubs me the wrong way. He seems like a nice guy, but maybe in an Eddie Haskell type of way.
Sure. You know who's rubbing people the wrong way recently?
Who?
This year, at least. Eli Drinkowitz.
Yeah.
People are remember his act? People liked it in the beginning. I think social media has turned on him.
I still like him, but I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it. So I'm going to be really interested in Clemson still has hopes of, they would have to beat, it doesn't, of getting into the tournament, the playoff. But they'd probably have to get into the.
They would need for Miami or.
They need Miami to lose.
Or SMU?
No, I think SMU's in the ACC champ.
Yeah.
So they need, they count on Miami to lose. So I can't even remember who Miami's playing. So, so they're a lot.
Syracuse.
So they're an outside shot. I'm talking about Clemson of getting into the playoff. I don't think they will, but they can be completely out of it if South Carolina beats them. What a season for South Carolina.
Heck yeah, yeah. And then the game that we've been talking about.
The whole nation.
The whole world.
Yeah, Texas and Texas A&M. Bitter rivalry renewed.
Yeah, it's
SEC championship game appearance is on the.
If you are
line.
So look, there's a bunch of, and I will put myself sometimes in this category, moody Aggies right now, right?
Uh-huh.
That they're looking forward to the game, but they're such in a bad funk because of what has happened in the last two SEC games. They can't really enjoy the moment very much right now. But around the world, people are not thinking about A&M's loss to Auburn. They're not thinking about Texas's soft schedule. I mean, they may be thinking about it, but they're looking forward to the renewed rivalry. And oh, by the way, the winner with a trip to Atlanta. Okay, let's just say that dude shows up. I think it would be unfair to expect Reuben Owens of last year or Le'Veon Moss of this year level of play because of the injury and lack of timing, and game speed is a different kind of speed. But the threat, the athleticism is definitely there.
100%. That guy is explosive, and he adds a whole new dynamic to the offense. He's a great receiving back out of the backfield, and he definitely creates matchup problems if linebackers have to get matched up on him. So if Reuben Owens does come back, I think you're right. I think that we're going to have to see how he's feeling pregame, see where he's kind of looking at. He hasn't played football in a few months, and jumping back in against, the number 3 team in the country and possibly the biggest environment that's been in Kyle Field in the past few decades is a big ask. But I think that Reuben is plenty talented and I think plenty mature to step in and be able to produce. And I mean, having Amari Daniels and Reuben back in the backfield to be able to have a 1-2 punch again is huge. And that could really help us establish the run game and help us to win this football game.
Talking to Max Wright here on TexAgs Live. Last thing for you, Max. What's the difference maker in this game? What has to happen?
We have to slow down their offense. We cannot let them get rolling out the gate early. I think that what happened against Auburn cannot happen this week. I think that Texas is too talented in the receiving room and too talented in the backfield for us to go out and allow them to get ahead early. I think that our defense is going to have to step up and play the best football that they've played all season. And our offense is going to have to come out and be dynamic and do what they did in the second half of the Auburn game. I think that when you look at this game and you look at all the things that have to fall into place, both of these teams are going to come out hot and both of these teams are going to come out fired up. It's the team that can maintain and the team that makes the least amount of mistakes that's going to win this football game. Listen, this is going to be one of the most electric environments that has ever graced Kyle Field. And I think that both teams know that and both teams are ready for that. And it's the team that comes in with level heads, who doesn't make the moment bigger than what it is, and who plays the best brand of football, who's going to come out with a win on Saturday night.
This is what I have maintained since Hassan Longstreet decommitted. Number one, it's a punch in the gut.
Yep.
Nobody's hiding from that. Nobody's saying that it's not, that it wasn't a big loss in the recruiting class. You put all your eggs in the Hassan Longstreet basket. An out-of-state five-star kid just up the road from USC. You put all your eggs in that basket from the get-go. And we praise Colin Klein for it. He went out there. It was a tough get. He identified him, and he got him. Only for, was it 17 or 18 days away from signing day, you get burnt by it. Now, hindsight's 2020. You can go back and say, well, maybe they should have looked at Keelan Russell and Duncanville harder, or any of the in-state crop of quarterbacks harder, because you just saw it happen with Bryce Underwood at going to Michigan. He's a kid from right outside Detroit. He's committed to LSU. When the homeschool comes calling with a lucrative NIL package, all that work that you've done to get him in your class and keep him in your class goes by the wayside like that. And I don't know if you watched the video that Dave Portnoy put out about how all that went down. It is insane numbers to that NIL deal. I don't think Hassan Longstreet's getting that, but I do, from what I understand, think it was a very lucrative deal to keep him home 10 minutes from his or 25 minutes from his high school in Southern California. So you put all your eggs in that basket and you got burnt by it. Now, again, when you're sitting here today and looking at it, hindsight's 2020, you can be critical of that, right? But that's what they chose to do. And Colin Klein got a lot of praise for doing that. Rightfully so. That was a tough get from the get-go. And you got him in the summer and you held on to him until you didn't. So now that's a tough situation. It's a bad situation. But what are you going to do? You got to make the best out of a bad situation, correct?
Correct.
So they have scoured the state of Texas and across the country to look at quarterbacks, viable options that they think, A, are going to be good players that can help their recruiting class, that can help them win football games in the future, and B, aren't going to be problems in the locker room.
Can you kind of take us back to the day? And
Sure.
I don't want to relive it too much, but let's go back to the day.
Sure. We were, Moses Hall was pulling a double shift, and so we were working 6 to 12 and 12 to 6. And I made the second shift out there. And basically just when we started and opened the site, they said, climb up as high as you can get. So I got to the top of the third tier and started calling in logs. A buddy from high school was in the swing above me, and he got down at about 2:30 and said, are you coming with me? And I said, I'll be down in a minute. And called in a couple more logs, and then at about 2:42, the structure just swayed and went. And the only time I had to do was, thing I had time to do was grab the logs in front of me and ride the structure down.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So was there anything that kind of gave you a hint that something was happening? Like, were there any noises, anything?
No, nothing like that. It basically just swayed and then went. And the higher up you are, the less room you have to stand on. So I had about 2 coffee can worth of logs to stand on. So, like I said, there was just nothing to do but just grab the stuff in front of me.
As it's happening, and when you finally hit the ground, did you think you had passed? Were you conscious of everything happening?
Yeah, I was aware that everything had happened. I mean, I was only knocked out for a few seconds. So when I came to, it was kind of like the initial panic of everybody kind of running around trying to find people. So somebody kind of came up and grabbed my hand, and it was actually a really good thing because it put me in a calmer state because somebody knew where I was.
Okay.
So, yeah.
How long were they trying to get you out?
It took about 7.5 hours.
Wow.
They had to get everybody else out below me because everything is wired in together. And so they had to get everybody else out below me without disturbing the stuff where I was at. So,
Did you think you were going to survive?
I wasn't sure. I thought I might be paralyzed because I couldn't feel my legs. But I think I was like 19 at the time. So when I got out and made it to 7.5 hours, I thought, I'll be fine now. I'll make it. And then when I got to the hospital, I realized like there were so many people working on me that I was like, I might be in trouble.
All right, Nolan. You don't know what I'm going to ask you,
All right.
but you've watched YouTube videos before, right?
Yeah.
What kind of YouTube videos you watch?
I like to watch like Do Perfect.
Okay, those are good.
Do Perfect.
Aggies, like they're awesome.
Oh yeah.
What do they tell you to do at the end of these videos?
What do they tell me to do?
What do most YouTube videos tell you to do?
Like subscribe. Like it's just
Yes.
subscribe.
What else? Subscribe.
Subscribe. Like follow.
Yes. Like.
Yeah.
Comment.
Comment.
Good job.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the score going to be?
What's the score gonna be in the
Versus Texas,
game?
yeah.
I got a nail biter. I got A&M 31-28 on a last-minute field goal.
31-28, and I'm going to try again. Who's the best host currently on TexAgs?
David Nuno.
All right, that's what's up. It's The Rewind. We'll see you next time.